Hey guys, I'm down here. This is going to be my chapter review to One Piece 928, The Courtesan Komurasaki Appears. Now, this was a good chapter. Apologies for the late-ass review. I've been a part of like 3 podcasts in the meantime with Zonin and Grim, if you want to check those out. Zonin being a discussionist slash... Not really... does he review? I don't think he has a few reviews, probably. But discussionist on One Punch Man, especially extraordinaire. And... we have Grim as well, who's a reviewer like myself for One Punch, Taizai, One Piece, and multiple other things. So go check him out as well. But 3 podcasts between the 2 of them. Awesome guys, awesome people within those podcasts. Definitely worth a check. So that's what I've been doing, and I've also been being very lazy as well. So that's why One Piece has been late. That's why Boku no Hero is going to be late too, real late. And that's why Taizai is most likely going to be real late as well. Probably Wednesday, Thursday-ish. Other than that, I am wearing a turtleneck. It's freaking cold here. My genetics aren't made up for the cold, so apologies for that. But actually, no, not apologies for that. You accept that shit. So this chapter, really good. We start off with the prison scene of One Piece, where in this scene we get to go back to the mine / prison where Luffy, Kid, and plenty others are slaving away for kind of Kaido. And Old Man Hyo, the person that Luffy saved alongside Kid from the Hippo guy, he's there thanking Luffy for saving his ass, and Luffy gives him some food tickets. He's like, yo, go put on some weight. You really need that energy. So that's, I think, maybe setting up a future debt, which usually Luffy always has that one guy who has a debt to him, like Bellamy or something like that, who will come and help his ass as much as he can. Meanwhile, Raizo pops up already in the prison. I was like, okay, cool. That's quickened up the pace a lot, to be fair, because if we had to see Raizo kind of trying to break into this prison mine and then finding Luffy, it would have been something really long. So Raizo is already in the prison. He's already found the location of Luffy's keys and stuff like that, and all he does is asks Luffy to be patient whilst he tries to procure the keys to his cuffs. And he's like, dude, it's guarded by guards. And it's in a kairoseki or a sea stone container, so it'll be difficult for Raizo to get to, but I think it's just a matter of time. So Karibo then pops up to Luffy asking for some food tickets. Like, hey man, hey, ¿qué pasa, man? I'm hungry too. I don't know why Mexican. It could have been anything, but so he's asking for some food, and then to be part of Luffy's escape. No doubt Karibo will probably escape in the chaos once Kid and Luffy are freed, but Luffy rejects Karibo. He's like, nah, you're an asshat. I really don't want you alongside me or anybody I know. You've already tried to kill me once. He was really nowhere near, but I don't trust you in the slightest. Luffy tells Karibo to go shove it and go team up with Kid. That's what he's basically been told. Who we're told here had his arm ripped off by the Big Mom pirates, by the Big Mom crew, according to Karibo. And I was like, wait, Kid, by the Big Mom crew? That's not a crew he's had his eyes set on, but we don't know what he's been doing. Kid then pops up, telling Karibo and Luffy 2 things. He's like, alright, cool. First, he has never been after Big Mom's head. He simply wounded one of her commanders and stole what he was after. First off, which commander did he wound? Was this Cracker? Because Cracker's just been... No, it wasn't Cracker. It was the other guy that Rouge must have beat. I've forgotten his name. But if it couldn't have been the guy that Rouge beat, maybe it was. But if it was one of the other commanders, Smoothie, Cracker, or Katakuri, I really doubt Kid would actually Luffy managed to wound one of them considerably, or 2 of them considerably. So I'm not sure which of the 3 of those Kid would have been in a fight with, but I assume it was. I think it could have been the commander that we didn't see, the one that got demoted. So it might have been the one that Rouge beat. So the other thing is, what did he steal from this commander or from the Big Mom pirates? Because you don't just steal something from the Big Mom pirates and then walk away. They'd be on your ass big time. So what did he steal? Was it minor enough that they didn't want to go after him? And he seems to be kind of like a non-story or a non-threat to the Big Mom pirates. They just we haven't seen them give a shit about Kid. So I'm not sure what he stole, but I'm hoping that comes back to the story, like Oda just throwing in these little dimes of information, but like, that's useless information, and then he comes back to it because it's actually an important plot point. So I hope that happens. Kid then tells us the second thing, which is he lost his arm, not to the Big Mom pirates, but to none other than the red-haired pirates. Now, I was like, wow. Like, we all see Shanks and his crew in kind of like this honorable, very, very bubbly kind of chilled vibe. But if this is true, it just reminds us that the red-haired pirates are in actual fact, they're a Yonko crew. They are pirates, and they will clap anyone who tries to hurt their crewmates, which is what I assume Kid must have done. He must have jumped in their territory, tried to kick up a fuss, probably fighting a few of the lesser crewmates. Ben Beckman or some shit probably came and backhanded his ass, and his arm flew off, and he's like, oh shit. So it must have been something along those lines. But whatever they did, they were vicious enough, the red-haired crew, to slice off, rip off, pull off. I don't know how they must have done it, but they removed one of Kid's arms, which is why he's probably either got beef with them or why he's probably not going to challenge them. But either way, Luffy and Kid want to get more fame from fighting Kaido. So then we go to the procession of the courtesan, where we go back to the walk of harlotism, the walk of prostitution, if you want to call it that, where we see some men with knives stand at the head of this walk, raging at Komurasaki. And they attack. They decide, no, we don't like this chick, we're going to attack. And they instantly get put down by one of Komurasaki's guards. And at this point, we see one of the backstories of these men and how they share a past with Komurasaki. And I assume this applies to all three men that were put down. So to cut what was essentially quite a long story short, this is the backstory. These men would see Komurasaki privately because she is a high court, lady, prostitute, harlot, sleuth. So she's one of those, and they would see her privately. And she would tell them that she had fallen in love with them and have them go and try to buy her freedom. And because she's a high court harlot, I need to stop using. I'm just gonna say courtesan because she's a high court courtesan. Well, actually, that's kind of redundant. Because she's a courtesan, she would cost a lot of money for freedom. So they would bring all their life savings and try and buy her out and like try and win her over through this buying of her freedom. And she would steal the large sums of money they gave to her and then have them ridiculed in front of the court, and her boss Kyoshiro, which would also have been their boss, which is a bit weird. But he didn't, because they're lesser individuals, he wouldn't really know them. He didn't really pay any respect to them. So he would always side on Komurasaki's kind of side. So as the old man cries these tears of heartbreak, that was basically the backstory. As he cries these tears of heartbreak, we see Komurasaki's face for the first time, and thankfully, we expected it, but thankfully, she's beautiful with large eyes, round, like rouged lips, and a certain confidence in her gaze. She's also not inhumanly tall like we all thought. Like she was stacked. She was real tall. But it turns out she's just wearing these platform, like the geisha type heels, but these ones are like extensively larger. She's wearing basically platform heels up to her guard's knees, so she's got like a good 2.5 feet of extra height. So she's probably around about, I'd say, maybe Nami Robin's height, maybe. And she's really good looking, awesome stuff. And I really liked, I'm not sure, I don't think it classes as a kimono, but I'm going to say kimono until someone corrects me. And it's got like this peacock design on the front. I thought that was sick. I need one of those. Like, if dudes can wear that peacock design, I need one. Help me out. So she turns slightly to the men who tried to kill her, telling them men are nothing but dogs who bring her money. Thought that was pretty harsh, but cool. She winks as she tells them that she hates poor people, truly breaking their spirits in the most self-centered way, and quite frankly, it was disgusting. She's like broken these men's, oh my god, my English. She's broken these people's spirits in the most disgusting way possible for them. She's ridiculed them, publicly shamed them, spoilt them of all of their kind of honor, and she's stolen all of their money. So they have literally nothing. They've given up family, money, pride, stature, everything. They've given up everything for her, and she's just wiped them away, basically. So they're then detained by guards who exile them to outside the capital. But as they're being exiled, we go back to the Kuri, where we have the braided hat village, and we have Momonosuke talking to Otama, and she's like, "You have a little sister?" He's like, yeah, I have a little sister. and if she's still alive, she would be 26. I'm like, what? Wait. The fact that he's bringing this up right, like juxtaposed to the Komurasaki scene, I was like, this can't just be a coincidence. He's bringing up his sister, her age, what her assumed age would be, right after we're introduced to this courtesan, this good-looking courtesan, who's stealing money from random dudes. And he's like, people saw my mother die, but no one saw Hiyori die. Hiyori being his younger sister. And I was like, oh man, oh shit. So he's like, while Otama's is kind of looking at him, reddened cheeks and everything, Momonosuke is there practicing with his sword, with his I forgot what they're called, the wooden swords. Shit, I should really know that. But yeah, he's there. He's like, she would be 26. No one saw her die. And Otama's like, I hope you get to meet her. He's like, nah, that's not how this works. I hope I don't get to meet her, because if Orochi finds out about Hiyori, he will certainly go after her. She's not going to be safe. And he's like, I can only meet her after we win this war. So Momonosuke, he's got that steel in his resolve. He's prepared to protect his sister, but I'm not sure how this is going to go, because it could go one of multiple ways. His sister could be bitter of having been left behind in the care of all these nobles and stuff like that, who have twisted her personality, and now she's kind of like this courtesan who takes money from innocent men, and she works for Orochi, the person she hates the most, and stuff like that. So she could feel really bitter towards her brother, towards Kinemon and Kaido and what's his name, Raizo and Kanjuro and all that, and even Okiku. She could be incredibly bitter. She could have just been waiting for a long time. In her mind, she'd steel herself when she was young. Like, she'd wait for her brother's return. So she could be incredibly happy to see him, but like, I'm not sure either way. And the fact that she's a courtesan, I'm not sure. I'm hoping Oda hasn't done that kind of damsel in distress thing. I'm hoping she's powerful. I'm hoping while she spent her time in Wano, learnt the way of the sword, learnt the way of the samurai, and is actually a lot more powerful than she looks. I mean, like, she's a courtesan, so maybe she most likely hasn't had time to train in the way of the sword, and she's been training in other less manual ways, but probably more manual ways, different kind of manual. But I'm hoping she's someone who can like put in some work. But there might be bitterness there, so it's a good plot point to have, and it's another dimension to the story. But Momonosuke is right. If Orochi knew about who she was, surely he'd be keeping like tighter reins on her, and maybe that's why she's been invited to the castle. But you'd assume this is something that's been happening year in, year out since she turned 18 or whatever the legal age is in Wano. So let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. Let me know what you guys thought of this review. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in a bit.